How exactly does a nominee director work in Cyprus? You'll find out in this video. Hello and welcome. My name is Florian Wilk. I am the Managing Director of CMC here in Larnaka and Paphos, Cyprus, and we support companies here. To establish a tax presence on the island, we take care of all legal and tax matters, meaning we set up companies, handle ongoing bookkeeping, immigration, due diligence, and much more. And of course, this also includes the nominee director. What exactly is that? What does nominee director mean? This term is used very differently depending on the jurisdiction, and the function also varies. And that's why I want to explain this here for Cyprus, how it works, so that you can really understand exactly what this nominee director is all about. So, of course, for every company here on the island in the Republic of Cyprus that is supposed to be taxed in Cyprus, we always need management on site. In other words, a director who lives here on the island. This can be a company, and that's what we do. As a rule, companies are no longer appointed as directors because it simply complicates things. At first glance, it looks odd and at the very least raises eyebrows with banks and authorities when a company is registered as a director. So, usually we have natural persons as directors, and very often the client themselves lives in Cyprus and serves as the director. That's perfectly fine, completely legitimate, but there are also cases where, for example, someone lives in Southeast Asia, let's say in Thailand, and wants to have a company in Europe without having their tax residence in Cyprus or even a secondary residence in Cyprus, and therefore does not want to be the director themselves. Just as an example, there are of course many reasons why someone might want a nominee director. Then there is the option to appoint someone for a symbolic salary. That's 500 euros per month. We also only pay very low social security contributions on that, about 145 euros. Of course, this amount can also be set higher, depending on how involved the director is in the business activities. It could also be 1,000 or 1,500 euros, but often you can actually start with just 500 euros, just to cover a minimal level of management. And in my view, and increasingly for the authorities as well, it is always very important to formally employ the managing director. So that it's not just someone who is simply there, so to speak, as a managing director and that's it. No, in any case, they should also receive a salary, and of course, social security contributions should be paid, either by them or by the company. That is also extremely important. What do we achieve with this trustee managing director? We have someone who is on site, who is registered as a natural person as managing director, and who accordingly also makes business decisions. Of course, we can also document this so that it can be proven that business decisions are made here on the island. Extremely important. And we have also fulfilled all the formalities, all the formal requirements. Namely, we have employment subject to social security contributions, we have social security certificates for authorities, banks, and so on. And we have a situation where we have everything you need so that your company is actually taxed here on the beautiful island of Cyprus. If this is a topic for you, if you say, I want to set up a company, maybe I have an e-commerce business or another trading company or IT, software, consulting, these are common industries we work with, then you are very welcome to take advantage of a free initial consultation. You can sign up for this. You'll find the relevant link below the video, and through this link you can sign up for a completely free and non-binding initial consultation so that we can evaluate your project, see if Cyprus is the right location, and of course whether a nominee director makes sense for you, for your tax setup and for your company. And it's actually a very common situation that entrepreneurs either can't be in Cyprus at all or can only spend a certain part of the year there. They might have multiple residences, multiple locations, travel a lot, especially many young entrepreneurs in e-commerce or online marketing who are constantly on the move and really travel from country to country. And in such cases, it often makes sense to appoint a nominee director. We also often do this just for the first 6 or 12 months and not necessarily for 4 or 5 years or anything like that. Of course, it always depends on the individual case, and it's often a good way to get started. Sometimes you want to hire a managing director full-time, but you need some time to make the decision. In such cases, it also makes a lot of sense to start with a nominee managing director, so you can gradually build up substance and gain the time needed to find and hire the right candidate. After all, you don't just hire anyone as a managing director, you have to thoroughly vet the person first. Sometimes you might even have someone work in the company for half a year or a year before actually appointing them to the management. These are common scenarios where this is needed. And I think this might be something you can relate to, or maybe you're in a situation where you say, I know this, I've experienced a similar situation before. So, I want to sincerely thank you for your attention, and of course, I'd be happy if you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for tax information, immigration info about Cyprus, and also about other jurisdictions. Thank you very, very much, and I wish you all the best from Florian Wilk.